Do you ever wish you had a research assistant right by your side as you search for your ancestors? Well, you can. In this video, I'm showing you how 3 AI platforms can function as your genealogy research assistant. Hey there, I'm Lisa Lisson, a genealogy expert who's been helping people find their ancestors for over 15 years. And on this YouTube channel, I'm sharing my best strategies, tools, and tips for helping you uncover your family history and grow a healthy family tree without being overwhelmed. Now, AI, or artificial intelligence, has been a very popular topic over the last year or so. And yes, I do use it as part of my genealogy research. I confess, when I first started looking at AI, I wasn't really quite sure how to utilize it with my genealogy research, but I've been playing with it for a while now and have really come to think of it as my research assistant that comes right along beside me while I'm doing my research, and it's part of my research plan. So today I'm going to show you some of the ways that you can use AI as part of your genealogy research, and I'm going to be sharing with you how I use 3 different platforms to do just that: ChatGPT, Google's Gemini, and Perplexity. Now, before I turn my camera around and show you how I use these different platforms, let's talk briefly about what AI can actually do for you as you're looking for your ancestors. Now, AI tools can rapidly transcribe and translate text from various languages, which makes historical records more accessible to you. Now, AI algorithms can suggest relevant records and other family and potential family tree connections that you might not have thought to look at otherwise. Now, this is the type of AI algorithm that we have been seeing for quite a while now on, say, Ancestry.com and MyHeritage. You know, when you're researching a record and then it says off to the side, if you're interested in this record, then you need to check out these other potential matches. Again, this is part of the algorithm that's already built in, and you've already been using it, I'm sure, if you're in these databases. So these save time and also point to records that we might not think to look at otherwise. Now, when it comes to DNA analysis, AI can play a crucial role in analyzing DNA data, identifying potential relatives, and providing insights into a genetic ancestry. Now, I am not a DNA expert, I can tell you that straight up, but should you need help, reach out. I absolutely do know a number of fabulous DNA experts I'm happy to help connect you with. AI can also help create detailed timelines of ancestors' lives, map their movements, and help put them in time and place in relation to other important events happening within the community, region, state, or even country. And lastly, AI can also be your research assistant. I alluded to this at the top of this video, but as a research assistant, AI can help me generate appropriate research questions. It can suggest new avenues of research, and honestly, it can help me break through genealogy brick walls. So what does this mean to your genealogy research? It means it's going to save you time, because AI can do in, seconds and minutes things that might take us hours to do. AI can help us identify connections and patterns that might not be immediately apparent to us. AI can also help us be better storytellers. After all, we spend a lot of time researching the records and building our family trees, right? And ultimately, what we want to be able to do is to share it with other family members so that they too can have these connections to their past. Well, AI is a fantastic tool to help us do that. So let's talk about AI and accuracy for just a moment here. So is AI accurate? No, not always, certainly. It is not infallible. We've all heard the wild things that AI would return when asked various prompts. And I think it has gotten better, but we do know that it is not 100% accurate all the time. But if we keep that in mind and we're aware of that, we can still make use of it, and AI can definitely be your research assistant. And it is in that role of being a genealogy research assistant that I really lean into the AI platform. Okay, now I'm going to get ready and turn my camera around, share with you what some of these different platforms look like, how I use them, the types of prompts that I'm using for these. But before I do that, please let me know in the comments below if you have used AI in any part of your research at this point. And if you have, which platform do you typically use? All right, I'm going to turn the camera around and let's take a look at the 3 platforms that I mentioned at the beginning: ChatGPT, Google's Gemini, as well as Perplexity. I've got some examples to show you on each one, so let's take a look. Okay, so we are over here on Google's Gemini, and this is their AI platform. It was originally called Bard, so if I slip up and say Bard, know that I'm talking about Gemini. I think I pretty much am consistent with Gemini now. Anywho, I'm over here and I want to show you how I'm going to use it as a research assistant to learn a little bit more about my farming ancestors and their way of life and how it might how I might use the information it can give me to further my research. Now, to go to Google, to go to Gemini to find it, it's really just gemini.google.com. So very easy to find. You can Google it, but gemini.google.com, and you should be there. I will tell you, for this and for all the platforms that I use the free version. I do not have the pro or paid version on any of these, and for my purposes, it has served me quite well. I haven't felt the need that I needed to pay and to get other features. These seem to work really well for me. If you've had experience, if you are on a paid version of a platform and have any insights there, feel free to leave me a comment and let me know kind of what your experience is and what you find is beneficial. But for our purposes, all of these that I'm using I'm on the free version, and occasionally you will find there are some limitations on what you can do and how many prompts, but again, it works well for me. So over here, and what I did is I go in and I make a prompt. Now, when we ask Google something, or when we ask Gemini or any AI platform, what we ask it or how we ask it and the context that we put in our question for it is really important. So for instance, in this one, I said, I am researching my ancestors who lived in Surry County, North Carolina, beginning in the early 1800s. They are predominantly farmers. What type of crops would they have grown? What were some of the challenges they would have faced in the mid 1800s? So I wanted to give it some context, not just, okay, what challenges would my ancestors have had living in Surry County? I needed to give it a time period. I kind of gave it an occupation. I wanted to kind of see what I could suss out there. So here's what it came back with. So it tells me the crops that were grown. So we had a lot of subsistence crops, corn, wheat, sweet potatoes, that type of thing. Cash crops, this is what they might have been making to sell, all very consistent from what I know about the area and from what oral history tells me. And then it's going to come down here and tell me there are a lot of challenges that would have been faced. A lot of these are farming things that maybe it's just helping me understand that, boy, being a farmer in the foothills of North Carolina, it's tough. Soil depletion, limited technology, obviously, transportation difficulties, price fluctuation, those kinds of things. These are all pretty general. But I got to thinking, I thought, I wonder a little bit more about those transportation difficulties given where they live. Again, this is the foothills of North Carolina. So I said, anything that it tells me, I can say, all right, expand on that. And so I said, please expand on those transportation difficulties. Tailor your answer specifically to Surry County, North Carolina, which is in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. I wanted to give it a little more context. I wanted to find out a little bit more about what was going on. It's telling me, again, yes, that it had challenges, that a limited road network, hilly terrain, yes, definitely very difficult, water limitations, water transportation, and distance to market. So it was, what did they do to get around it? So it would tell me a little bit more. Tell me how they focused on local market, types of cash crops that they would have had, but that railroad system in the late 19th century would have revolutionized it for them, would have really helped them out coming through. So it's given me, so did this give me the next greatest thing? No. But did it tell me and help me have an appreciation for my ancestors and the difficulties that they might have been having with their farming and how they would have lived? Yes. And particularly because of this transportation issue. So because it's telling me this, because it's telling me it's in the really a limited road network, it's very hilly terrain, there's water transportation issues, it gets me thinking, where would they have gone and how would they have gone? Maybe going to the county seat wasn't the best option for them. Maybe if with these hills, maybe I need to look and consider get a topographical map and look and go, oh, if it's that hilly, where would they have gone? What would have been the easier route? Maybe they went over to Virginia to do their business. So it's going to get me thinking and moving along in those lines. So next we have ChatGPT. So that's where we're at now. To access it, you simply go to chatgpt.com. Easy breezy to get to. And you'll need to create a free account if you don't have one. Now, initially, ChatGPT was limited to using data prior to September 2021, but that really doesn't hold true anymore. Like Gemini, it can provide up-to-date information. So wanted to let you know about that. And I use it very similar to how I use Gemini. So again, let's take a peek at the prompts that I use, noting that I'm using ChatGPT, I'm giving it context in the prompts that I give it. So in this particular one, I'm saying I am researching my great-great-great-grandfather who lived in Surrey County, North Carolina in the early 1800s. I'm trying to find out who his father was. Please create a research plan for me. So in this case, I'm asking it, make a research plan here so I can help me out, basically. So it absolutely starts creating that research plan. It's telling me to gather existing documents, the vital records, census records, coming down, land records, probate records, church records, local histories, genealogies, DNA testing, online databases. So it's actually, as you can tell, obviously, it is giving me pretty generic genealogy research. So if you are a beginning researcher, this is absolutely, what we could work off of. And it's going to, so it gives me ideas, but it's a little bit, because I have a lot of experience. So those of you who, kind of intermediate and, you've been researching for a while, advanced researchers, you need a little more than that. We've done a lot of the basics and we're stuck, right? So this is where I wanted it to go a little bit deeper. So what I actually did is I said, okay, so for those land records, where would I find deeds and land grants for Surrey County? Are they online? And so it comes in and it tells me, well, yes, there are some online that you can find. Some might require the archives, but it's telling me online resources. So North Carolina Land Grant Database or Grant Images and Database. This is a fabulous website, guys. So this was definitely one to check out. It's telling me what Family Search has online that I could look at. It's giving me direct links. It's telling me Ancestry has some as well. It's also telling me that if I need to go do them, if I need to find them, the originals and offline records, it's telling me where to look for them. It's giving me the address. It tells me that the Surrey County Register of Deeds has these. It has things that are not online. Here's your address, here's your phone number, and here is your website. How helpful is that? North Carolina State Archives, another place to find them. Again, telling me what they might have, their address, the phone number, and the website. So it's giving me options that I might not have thought to look for as well. So this is a great way to perhaps find out where records might be. And so I said, okay, that's nice. Now, oral history tells me my ancestors in this family were hard shell Baptist. How can I find out about early Baptist churches in this area, and how can I find out if their records exist? Now, church records, guys, are things that I knew that I wanted to get into, but I didn't know how to research them. So this is great. Here, let's help you out here. Here's what you can find. So it tells us a little bit about, that hard shell Baptists were also known as primitive Baptists, which is a very common up in the area during that time period. And so it's telling me a little bit about having to identify those local Baptist churches, how to do that. And so I would need to research that, associations, the church records, what Family Search has, local historical societies, libraries, church visits. Coming on down is telling me there could be some online resources, Ancestry, Find My Past. Some of these, I wasn't quite so sure about that they would have what I actually needed. Definitely the state and regional archives. Here was one I had not thought about, the Southern Historical Collection. This is a special collection out of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, which has a lot of church records and papers. This would definitely be a resource I hadn't thought about to look at, that I would need to look at. Recommending some genealogical societies. Again, this was a bit high level, again, from what I was looking for. So I said, let's see if we can narrow this down any more. I said, what Baptist churches were located in Surrey County from 1810 to 1840? And here's where things started to get a little bit, ChatGPT started to kind of get what I was trying to get after. And so again, this was kind of a back and forth conversation I was having with AI. And so it said, all right, here are the key Baptist churches. There was the Fisher River Primitive Church, Baptist Church, established in 1822. Which is one of the older ones there. That's good to know. Little Yadkin Baptist Church, established in 1828, and Mitchell's River Primitive Baptist Church from the early 19th century. I was like, yes, okay. This gives me the starting place that I can start looking for. Again, kind of gave me some of that same information about how to start researching these, but at least I have some names now of that. That was really important for me to get this piece of the puzzle. And then it told me how to, again, start looking for it, to gathering the information, Baptist Association records. This is actually something I had not thought about that I could do from associations to see if this association was still in existence or what it could be now. And then certainly networking with other local churches that were in the area currently. And so I thought, okay, that's good, but let's see what else I can find. Are there any written histories of these 3 historic churches? And if so, what are they and where can I find them? So I want to know, are they written? And it said, well, yeah, there are. So it's telling me again to look for the association minutes. The Little Yadkin Baptist Church said there might be some at the local archives, county histories. So it's not quite as specific as I had hoped, but it's telling me that there's a possibility out there. So I pushed a little harder on it, and it said, here you go. A history of primitive Baptist churches, Baptist in North Carolina. This would be a good book for me to read, to learn about the social history surrounding them, to see if what I could possibly find out. And so this is a resource that I definitely want to check out here. And again, it's telling me potential repositories. So it's constantly telling me, here's what you might want to look at. Here's some possibilities that you could go forward with. So you can see when it comes to these, if you look at these prompts, it's a back and forth conversation with AI. Okay, I'm giving it context. I'm asking it to expand on what it's told me. I'm asking it to tweak what it's told me. Perfectly fine to do that. All right, so we are over here on Perplexity. Now, this may be one that is new to you as from an AI perspective. Again, it does have a free version and a pro version. I'm on the free version, but it is Perplexity. You simply go to perplexity.ai and you'll find it there. Again, you will need to create a free account to do this. Now, this Perplexity is really becoming probably my favorite AI platform to work on recently. It's fairly new to me, but I'm really enjoying it because it gives sources to the answers that it actually gives me. So I want to show you how that works, and I think you're going to find that this is something that you're going to start to enjoy using as well and explore a little bit more. So we are over here, and I asked it actually the same prompt that I had asked in a previous AI program. So I said, I'm researching my great-great-great-grandfather who lived in Surrey County, North Carolina in the early 1800s. I'm trying to find out who his father was. Please create a step-by-step research plan for me. And so it pulls different sources for me, and it starts to create that particular plan for me. And again, this is a fairly high level plan. I haven't given it a lot of specifics, but it's telling me, okay, gather what you know. Census records, it's telling me which years to search. Okay, 1790, 1800, 1810s, 1820, 1830. So it is telling me which census records to actually look in, and it's also telling me which resources to use. Family Search and Ancestry.com to be part of those. Vital records, so it's telling me, okay, vital records. So, this is early. They have marriage records back to 1778, so I need to look for those marriage records there. Minister and the Justice of the Peace returns. I love that. This telling me what types of records to look at, right? And again, you see these little numbers here? When you hover over them, what that's doing is it's telling you the source of information that it's pulling its answer from. So this gives me a little more confidence in what it's telling me, and I can then go and check it out to make sure it's not if it looks a little wonky, I can go check it out. Is this a resource I need to look at further? Do I need to check for accuracy? But I'm feeling a lot more confident that when it's sourcing it, that I know where the information is coming from. So it's got, this one's doing the Surrey County Genealogical Society. And then here we have this pulling information from Family Search as well. So it's telling me that. It's telling me also I can visit the County Register of Deeds. It's telling me a little bit about birth records. That they didn't start till 1913 here in North Carolina. Important information. I don't want to look for birth certificates that don't exist. Again, it's talking about land records, what types I could look at, where I could find them, what types of probate records to look at. It's again pulling the information. Here's one, North Carolina State Files Index, which is really helpful to find there. I really like this. It's telling me to pull local histories, genealogical societies. So it's giving me ideas of books and the websites to go to and areas that I could go research. So absolutely fabulous information here. It's a little more in depth than the ChatGPT one that we did over there as well. It's telling me where I can find historical paper collections here in North Carolina. And again, so it's step by step, the types of information I need to look for and where to find information. I hope you have found that helpful. I hope that you now have some ideas about how you might use AI as part of your genealogy research and to function as your research assistant. I hope you feel comfortable trying out some of these platforms if you haven't done that as of yet. Now, there are two things that I want to make sure that you do remember and that you truly internalize as you begin working with AI and using it as your genealogy research assistant. And that is one, make sure you verify any of the facts that it gives you. All right. Verify the facts because AI is not infallible. And two, really think about those prompts. I give you a lot of examples as we went through the video, but think about those prompts and remember to provide context in your prompts so that you get a better answer. Now, if you are just getting started in your genealogy research, if you are new to genealogy research, not really sure about this whole AI thing, but really want to maybe solidify the basics of your genealogy research, be sure and watch the video up on your screen now.